Welcome to GP Bullhound's Tech Thoughts. Today is the 17th of September, and we are here with Inge Heydorn for our weekly market roundup. Today, Inge will cover recent market developments, gaming delays and demands, and news in the semiconductor industry. Over to him.
Thank you very much. As we talked about last week, the sentiment in the market has turned more negative. We have more negative news on COVID. I just heard on the radio this morning, we had a record number of hospitalities in Canada, and we have lockdowns in Australia and so on. So the news continue to pour in on the negative side regarding COVID. On the inflation side, on the other hand, the CPI this week was clearly lower than expected, but driven by lower airfares. And I would almost state that that's an effect of COVID spreading out. So it's not that great news, to be honest. So the sentiment has clearly turned more negative in the marketplace. Going over to the gaming industry. The gaming industry has really been in the cold since June, and engagements numbers has been low relative to last year. And the reason is definitely the COVID lockdown last year. So it's really tough comparisons. But with that stated, the underlying demand is still very healthy. The channel checks are good. NPD numbers from the US were good yesterday. But on top of that, we have had some delays. We had Take-Two coming out saying that GTA 5 update will come in March 1st. So really missing Christmas season. Not good news at all for Take-Two. And EA delaying Battlefield 2042 for only a few weeks, although. So there will still be in time for Christmas. But the interesting thing from these statements and the takeaway from it is that both EA and Take-Two had delays, but still keeping their guidance, which means that the underlying demand is healthy and I would say almost trending better than expected, in line with our channel checks. On top of that, I think it's quite interesting that vendors then that haven't had delays, like Activision, will probably beat their numbers in the second half, given the fact that the underlying demand is healthy and they are on time. So that's a really interesting read-through, I think, from the two delays and the statements. Going over to semiconductors then, we have seen a lot of news on the semiconductor side, but I would almost like to start from another angle this time and start with vendors like Timken, having a profit warning due to the fact they can't supply and struggling with the cost side because of steel prices. And then you had Cisco coming out with a capital markets day this week, stating that margins will be under pressure due to component prices. So we definitely see people struggling with components still, and the price increases in components and transferring that price out to the end client. So with that stated, we still think semiconductor demand is healthy. There's still lack of supply, but there's one weakness in the marketplace. It's been there for a while, and it's China, and it's China handset demand. And we're now seeing a number of the vendors there, like Oppo, Vivo, cutting heads and so on. And that's not a great sign, but bear in mind, that's still not a great part of the market and will not have a major impact on the semiconductor market. That's really the conclusions we had from this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Inge.